ladies and gentlemen. And with that, let's also move forward towards our next set of conversations. And this is where we will be understanding more about the Japan's largest bank, MUFG's strategic initiatives for startups in India. Again, another much needed session that we are eagerly looking forward to. And this morning, we'll be having three of our speakers joining over here to share about the strategic initiatives and the plans that are in store for the startups in India. So on that note, while we are about to also quickly set the stage, I hope all of you are sharing your insights and all the takeaways that you're getting from here using the hashtag GFF. Keep your tweets coming and do share your experience as well. On that beautiful note and on that informative note, let's move ahead and we shall quickly invite our speakers on the stage. So joining us this morning, and we have with us first up, none other than Masakazu Osawa, Managing Executive Officer, Group Head, Digital Service Business Group, and Group Chief Digital Transformation Officer of MUFG Bank and member Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group. We have with us Mr. Shashank Joshi, Head of Global Corporate Banking, India, MUFG Bank, and Deputy CEO, MUFG India. We're also joined by Ryutaro Hiroshima, CCO, Mars Growth Capital. So first up, can we have a huge round of applause? It's time to actually gather a global perspective with regard to these initiatives and all that's in store for startups in India. So I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of our speakers here. And first up, I'd like to request Osawa-san to please spearhead the session by sharing your thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Osawa-san.
Hello, everyone. I am Masakazu Osawa, Group Chief Digital Transformation Officer of Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group, or MUFG, one of Japan's largest financial groups. I am responsible for driving the entire MUFG digital transformation strategy. It is an honor to be invited here and to make a presentation with such distinguished presenters. I love visiting India, and I'm thrilled to feel the dynamics of this country by standing in front of all the participants of Global Fintech Fest 2022. Please let me start with the introduction of MUFG. MUFG is headquartered in Tokyo with over 360-year history. We have delivered financial solutions through our overseas network in more than 50 countries, including India. We have a strong presence in Japan and the most extensive overseas network among Japanese financial groups. In addition to MUFG's branch networks in Asia, we have formed strategic partnerships with some of the most prominent local banks, which are called partner banks in Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, and the Philippines. Adding their networks, we have more footprints here in Asia than any other region outside Japan. I would like to touch upon our recent activities regarding open innovation. From the MUFG's DX strategy point of view, open innovation is one of the key elements to the success of our digital transformation. Collaborating with external partners who have new business ideas or cutting-edge technologies, we can deliver new values and solutions to our customers, mixing those new ideas into our experience as a traditional financial institution. We are constantly looking for opportunities to collaborate with such partners, not only in Japan, but in 4 corners of the globe. In 2016, we started strategic investments in startups by investing directly from the bank. Then in 2019, we established our corporate venture capital, Mitsubishi UFJ Innovation Partners, or MUIP, to accelerate the strategic investments across the group. So far, MUIP has invested in 37 startups, and including MUIP's investments, our historical investments in startup is in total $547 million as of now, excluding our investment in Grab. Those investments have enabled MUFG to come up with unique products and services to serve our customers better. For instance, in Singapore, we have established a joint venture called Mars Growth Capital with the Israeli fintech company Liquidity Capital. Through this vehicle, we provide debt finance to promising startups, mainly in Asia, leveraging our joint venture's unique credit model, utilizing tons of alternative data. In 2020, we made a strategic investment in Grab. As you know, Grab is one of the largest super app operators in Southeast Asia. Making a strategic synergy with our partner banks is one of the main purposes of this alliance. I am proud of the great progress of the collaboration so far, especially in Thailand. Grab and Krungsri, or Bank of Ayutthaya, have started financing programs to drivers, merchants, and users by leveraging Grab's various data regarding applicants of those loans. This alliance contributes to financial inclusion in Asia, which is one of the important objectives of SDGs, by providing customers with the financial services that have not been extended by the traditional financial institutions. Furthermore, we recently invested in MUFG, the fintech company based in Nigeria. They are providing vehicle finances to consumers mainly in Africa. We have introduced MUFG to one of our important corporate clients, Suzuki, as you may well know, major Japanese car manufacturer. MUFG, MUFG, and Suzuki signed the MOU to accelerate the strategic partnership in Africa and to expand that in other countries in Asia. Lastly, I understand that India is well known as a country with world-leading technology capabilities. In recent years, the nationwide digital transformation has been promoted significantly by the government. As a result of this dynamic, people's life is shifting from offline to online at a rapid pace. And almost every day, lots of unique products and services have been introduced by up-and-coming startups. In the financial industry, many fintech startups are promoting disruption and innovation. Their state-of-the-art solutions enable traditional financial institutions like MUFG to access new-to-credit customers and take deeper risks than before. To that end, we plan to promote the strategic partnerships with such promising startups in India. We recently established a $300 million fund named MUFG Ganesha Fund to invest exclusively in seeding Indian startups. These initiatives will be introduced by my colleague Shashank, Deputy CEO of MUFG India, in the following presentation. In addition, we have a venture debt arm, Mars Growth Capital, as I mentioned earlier, and these initiatives will be presented by Mr. Hiroshima, co-CEO of the company. Finally, I sincerely hope that MUFG could play a significant role in supporting emerging startups in this country. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Osawa-san. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this invitation to speak at the Global Fintech Fest 2022. Over the last 2 years, this platform has grown to become one of the largest forums where speakers from around the world deliberate on key trends and potential of the Indian fintech sector and its far-reaching global impact. The year 2021 was a formative year for the Indian startup ecosystem, which saw the emergence of numerous startups, incubators, and investment from the public and the private sector. A total of $42 billion was raised in 2021 versus only $11.5 billion in the previous year. This remarkable growth in investment validates the belief and potential of Indian startups. Fintech remained one of the top segments for funding, and in terms of number of deals closed, today we have the third largest startup ecosystem in the world with 60,000 startups, which is growing every single day. The world is changing at an unprecedented rate, and with the increasing risk from global macroeconomic conditions and inflationary environment, we need to be more certain than ever about the resilience of the sector. Therefore, today, I will discuss the key themes that could emerge in the near future and how MUFG is supporting this incredible fintech ecosystem in India. Let me take this opportunity to explain about our presence in India and key initiatives taken by the bank. MUFG has a long-established reputation of a trusted partner of global corporates and Japanese corporates, as well as financial institutions in India, catering to their loans, trade finance, foreign exchange, and risk management needs. Apart from our core debt business, recently MUFG has announced 3 initiatives that will act as a strong foundation of the bank's commitment to the Indian economy and contributing to India's vision of being a gateway to the world. MUFG is the largest Japanese bank in India and is constantly widening its spectrum of services in response to the fast-growing Indian market. We now have a network of 6 branches, with GIFT branch being our latest addition. It was started last month. The core objective of our GIFT branch is to retain our India business within India and make it more efficient for our clients and us. Our second growth initiative is the setting up of MUFG Enterprise Solutions in Bangalore and Mumbai. MES is our GCC to tap on the local talent pool for supporting our tech infrastructure and various other business lines for MUFG globally. In the near future, this entity will drive the digital transformation of our operations globally and providing innovative solutions to internal as well as external stakeholders. Lastly, we launched the $300 million MUFG Ganesha Fund, which Osawa-san just talked about, which I will talk about in detail in the next few minutes. Now, before I talk about the Ganesha Fund, I would like to talk about India's digital success. The common theme across the world forums and corporate corridors is that this is going to be India's decade. India will be increasingly the dominance in the digital value chain across geographies. The confidence has resulted in the commitment of billions of dollars from global investors and a trust in India being the frontier of global growth. India is becoming the epicenter of the new digital economy, leading the world with a continuously evolving startup landscape and digital innovation. We are at the vanguard of a digital era propelled by government-promoted digital infrastructure enablers like the massive Aadhaar scheme, second largest smartphone users, fastest growing digital consumers, favorable regulatory and political climate, cheapest data access and access to funding, and proactive regulatory support. The confluence of these factors has made India the most preferred investment destination for global investors and MNCs to leverage talent in India through their global capability and R&D centers. These local initiatives are aiding global companies to innovate and support the development of products and solutions for global markets. This healthy development has led India to see 105 unicorns collectively. I think the number now is 107, valued at US $305 billion. Given the pace of our innovation, we expect this number to increase multifold in this decade, with India becoming the epicenter of global innovation. I believe that this trend is the beginning of a long-term movement towards India's status as a digital leader of the world and subsequently contributing to Indian Prime Minister's vision of a $5 trillion economy. MUFG, being one of the world's largest financial institutions with a nearly $300 trillion balance sheet, has an enormous opportunity in India. In addition to supporting Indian corporates through debt solutions, we have also launched a $300 million MUFG Ganesha Fund to support startups, showing Japan's largest bank's very strong commitment to India. MUFG has one of the largest banking networks in the Asia-Pacific region, with investments in 4 large local banks in Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, and Philippines. Of these, in Thailand and Indonesia, we have a majority controlling stake. The objective of the fund is to help Indian startups leverage MUFG's large Asian network as a gateway to Southeast Asia, in addition to the financial capital that we will provide. Expansion into Southeast Asia is a natural extension for many Indian startups, given the similarities with the home country, such as digital-savvy young population, demographics, underpenetrated financial system, and growing demand for innovative financial products. One of the key focus of our Ganesha Fund would be to work with startups in India and implement solutions for our network, and in return providing local regulatory knowledge and deep understanding of the markets, and most importantly, a large consumer base to scale their products in the ASEAN region. We believe that MUFG is uniquely positioned in the Indian investor ecosystem, providing a ready platform for startups to expand to other geographies in Asia, in addition to the banking expertise across financial domain. Our focus would be to provide growth capital to startups with a focus on digital lending, insurtech, payments, fintech infra enablers, and SME lending, among other sectors, with a ticket size ranging from $10 to $50 million. Moving to my next section on key emerging themes in the fintech space. In the last 2 decades, India has evolved from a global back office provider to a front office information technology provider, driving digital transformation across industries around the world. This has been primarily driven by a huge pool of digital talent available in the country, which is becoming a key source for global innovation and growth. I believe this decade will witness India becoming the solution provider to the world's digital ecosystem, ranging from penetrating the unbanked population using payment infrastructure or adopting public technologies at a wider scale, such as UPI. We are at an inflection point, and going forward, the 3 themes which would strengthen the fintech center are banks and fintech collaboration, increasing corporate governance and regulatory compliance, and lastly, growing presence of Indian startups outside India. All of these 3 themes will converge to strengthen the Indian ecosystem in the long term. The fintech startups have launched innovative products focusing on payments, new age credit, scoring data models, faster turnaround times, and access to credit to the unbanked population. At the same time, traditional banks are now reinventing their digital strategy by digitizing the legacy systems. From competing with each other to collaborating with each other, fintech and banks have come a long way. While the former provides the new age tech infrastructure, the latter provides a large consumer base, regulatory know-how, and access to capital, resulting in an offering of complementary solutions jointly to the customer. Working together with the bank, a startup can have access to regulatory and compliance guidance, overview on customer due diligence, credibility in the market as a use case. Similarly, banks are benefiting as well by getting an access to faster than ever changing technology, new age solutions, seamless digital experience, and a reach to the unbanked population. MUFG investment in the Grab Super App is a perfect example of how a traditional institution and a startup work together to provide financial access to Grab's drivers and merchants. Separately in India, MUIP has invested in M2P, and along with their Southeast Asia market entry strategy, we are currently exploring with MUFG's partner banks in ASEAN to see the future collaboration schemes in the region. MUIP also invested in Moneytree, and now MUFG Bank has jointly launched an app called Mabel, specializing in household budget management in Japan. We are witnessing many such collaborations in India and globally, and I expect more such partnerships going forward. On corporate governance, which is a key pillar for any company to grow and creating its impact on the broader society. In the last few months, the focus of investors and public stakeholders has been on the governance function of any startup. Growth at all costs has moved to business sustainability for all stakeholders, balancing the expectations of a regulator, employees, customers, and most importantly, society as a whole, with strong focus on transparency, accountability, and data security. Having a strong corporate governance foundation will aid any financial technology firm to navigate risks and at the same time deliver better value to the stakeholders. The G in ESG, which is for governance, is shaping the startup landscape and will further enhance the investors' confidence in this sector. For MUFG, governance is one of the key criteria for evaluation. Today, all startups have an opportunity to drive change at the grassroots level, starting from a customer in a remote town to the supplier in any part of the country. Therefore, I truly believe that the new age companies will have a greater impact on creating economic value by focusing on sustainable business practices. Now, the most important aspect that is bringing structural changes in the fintech sector is regulatory compliance. Fintech sector is growing at a rapid pace and has become strategically, systemically important, employing millions of stakeholders directly or indirectly. With the more fintech players eyeing regulatory licenses to conduct businesses, the authorities have shifted their focus on regulating these startups and bringing them at par with financial institutions on compliance, customer protection, and KYC norms. I believe such changes will establish a strong foundation to the evolving fintech landscape, bringing more transparency, customer centricity, credit discipline, and creating a safe and sound digital ecosystem, hence ensuring the business sustainability in the long term. In the recent survey by the leading VC firm and consultancy, 53% of the startup founders mentioned that geographic expansion is a key priority for them. Many of the fintech companies are looking at geographies such as Middle East, North Africa, Southeast Asia to expand products and services. This will help create global recognition for these startups and at the same time open different avenues to scale outside the home markets. Favorable demographics, a large English-speaking population, and growing mobile penetration are few of the factors encouraging fintech companies to expand their footprints in the Asia-Pacific and the MENA region. Such startups are collaborating with financial institutions based on their success in India to develop innovative solutions for the customers in the respective geographies, which is a win-win situation for both. Another important aspect that is aiding the growth of startups outside India is validation by a large customer base in India and ability to work along with local banks in tapping the unbanked population, that is financial inclusion. I believe the next leg of growth for matured Indian startups would be to expand their footprints outside India by partnering with local financial institutions. In addition to growing, global VC community in India is also acting as a catalyst for fintech companies to expand investors, including MUFG, having experience in other geographies, are providing network and local know-how to expand and grow. Further, we plan to introduce such startups to our existing investee companies to collaborate on technology and work with the network closely. As I conclude, I hope to see more collaborations between banks and the startups, thereby providing innovative solutions and driving transformational changes in the finance sector. We must ensure that risk management and regulatory compliance become key pillars of the digital economy with a strong focus on consumer, business suitability, and inclusive growth. We as an institution, individuals, policymakers, regulators, and bankers have a joint responsibility to provide new-age technology companies a platform to grow and mark this decade as the Indian digital era, leading the world in creating a sustainable financial ecosystem. Lastly, John Paul, a famous philosopher, said, "Commitment is an act, not a word." The essence of the quote is reflected in Japan's commitment to India being a long-term partner with cumulative FDI inflows of over $36 billion in the last 22 years, contributing nearly 6.3% to India's total FDI inflows during the same period. We at MUFG have a long-term commitment to this country and will continue to support the corporates and fintech ecosystems in India. Now I invite Hiroshima-san, who is the co-CEO of Mars Growth Capital, to talk about Mars and their activities in India. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Osawa and Shashank, and thank you all for this amazing opportunity. My name is Hiroshima. It's my greatest honor to be here and present you my favorite part of the MUFG. From now on, I'm going to introduce MUFG Venture debt arm in Asia called Mars Growth Capital. Mars Growth Capital is debt fund based in Singapore. It is a 50-50 joint venture between MUFG and Liquidity Capital, Israel AI platform startup. MUFG brings to us a strong footprint, especially in Asia, and the Liquidity brings to us highly accurate AI credit model. Based on the combination of our AI algorithm and human intelligence, we provide non-dilutive debt for startup, mainly in Southeast Asia and India. We launched the business 2020 and have raised two funds so far. One is 200 million fund for growth stage, and the other one is the 300 million unicorn fund for the pre-IPO stage startup. Our journey is only less than 2 years so far, but we are proud that we already have tremendous track record. We now have 25 customers in our portfolio and have made more than 400 million in commitment to our promising customers. Well, the most important aspect of our performance is that we have never seen any default in our portfolio. This illustrates how accurate our AI credit model can evaluate startup projection. These are some of our strong portfolio as of today. Our core customers are tech startup with recurring revenue, and so e-commerce, marketplace, SaaS are the top segment that we deal with. We also expand our customer bases to other industries, such as edtech, payment gateway, and health tech. Besides that, given the current turmoil market condition, a lot of expectation venture debt increase. So we are having a lot of ongoing discussion with many prospects. Among the overall portfolio, 6 companies are from India or are they doing a major operation in India. Our unforgettable, fast ever client was also from India, Hydro, Series A SaaS company. Infra Market was the first client that we supported from our unicorn fund. We are very pleased to that India is the country where we allocate the largest exposure, and we are always sharing amazing moments with Indian customers. India has the greatest startup ecosystem, smartest people, and the fastest growing economy in the world. I'd like to strongly emphasize today that we will put more commitment in this country going forward. Collaborating with MUFG Network and the Ganesha Fund, we are confident that we are right partner to commit your further growth and support India startup space to the next level. That concludes our presentation today from MUFG and Mars Growth Capital. I hope the session was informative. Thank you very much for the listening, and I hope we will see you many more collaboration in the near future. Thank you so much.
Well, on that note, I'd like to thank Mr. Joshi. I'd also like to thank Osawa-san and Hiroshima-san. Thank you so much. I think it is a much-needed strategic initiatives that we were eagerly looking forward to, all the plans at the same time, all that's in store with regard to the startups in India, all the plans that you had shared with us, much needed indeed. So thank you very much for joining us here this morning. If